15 things you can declutter to start your year off right. It's almost the new year. If you want to jumpstart into 2024 with a fresh, simplified life that better aligns with you and your personal goals, then declutter these 15 things from your house and your life today.
First up, declutter your calendar. The start of a new year ushers in a lot of planning, a lot of booking things in calendars, events, birthdays, parties, goals, meetings, conferences, business milestones, the list goes on. But just as important as what you schedule on your calendar is what you deliberately don't schedule. By that, I mean it's important to reevaluate what you genuinely don't want to spend time on this year. Once you do, and if you deliberately leave some time on your calendar for things that fill your cup, then your calendar can breathe a little easier, and so can you. So preemptively declutter your calendar for 2024. I find it's helpful to write a list of all the key dates and events I know that are coming up this year, and critically think, why do I want to go or not go? If you need help with this, we've actually linked a free go or no-go flowchart to help you with these trickier questions. It's linked in the description below if you want to download it for free.
Next up, clothes, specifically clothes that you don't love, wear, that don't fit you well, or that you don't feel confident in. For many of us, our wardrobes are a place of unmet happiness. We fill them with clothes that caught our eye in the store. The novelty of buying something new that might have a chance of reflecting who we want to be, or how we want to be seen, or even clothes that hold memories that are too hard to let go of, even if we don't feel good actually wearing them. The time and mental clarity that comes from decluttering your clothes is so worth it, especially in the mornings when you're pushed for time and need to leave the house quickly. A simplified, downsized closet was one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It's so much easier to get dressed in the morning. My wardrobe is no longer overflowing with items I never wear, and I no longer have decision fatigue trying to match together different clothing combos for a cohesive look. I decluttered about 80% of my wardrobe a couple of years ago and only kept my most favorite of items. So if you want the easiest way to simplify all your mornings in 2024, consider downsizing and decluttering your wardrobe. If you need some help with this, I've linked below our decluttering guide ebook. It's a 60-page PDF, instant digital download sent straight to your email. A direct link is in our description below.
Number 3 is to declutter the paid subscriptions that you're not actually using. We chatted about this in a previous video, but what we mean is to pause your subscriptions for the platforms that you're not currently using that month. Watching shows in sequence is much more enjoyable than watching one episode or a few of one show, then flicking between different shows and then back again. It feels so much better to get really stuck into a show, be surrounded by the same characters, and watch the storyline unfold without the distractions of other shows pulling you in different directions. We just started watching Falling Skies on Amazon Prime this month, so we know we're not going to get any use of Disney Plus basically until we finish watching all 5 seasons of Falling Skies. So for now, we've paused Disney Plus. Nowadays, there's so many subscription services, it's really easy to lose track of how many we have and how much it ends up costing over the space of a year. If you want to simplify your streaming services, or your finances at that, then consider decluttering your subscriptions by either pausing the ones that you're not using or even unsubscribing to the ones you're really not using.
Number 4 on our list is to declutter your kitchen. The kitchen is the heart of the home, and decluttering this space has a huge payoff. It's where people gather, it's where you cook meals and need to find things effortlessly as you're whipping up a meal and the stove is on. Things shouldn't be hard to find. Everything should have its home. If you find yourself constantly rummaging through kitchen drawers to find your skewer or your vegetable peeler, you might have too much stuff. Out of all the rooms in the house, I think the kitchen by far falls victim most to the curse of the single-use items. There's always ads for the latest and greatest kitchen utensil. They're usually inexpensive and show up on an infomercial. Single-use items like contraptions that slice avocados and only avocados, or banana slices that only cut bananas, if they're not too big, that is. These things are novel and fun, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had the Nessie spoon and the whole family at at that. But here we're talking about the stuff that you don't love, the stuff you never touch unless you're rummaging past it and poking yourself in that pit of a junk drawer. Clutter looks different to everyone, and I would never consider my whole family of Nessie spoons to be clutter because I love them and I use them a surprising amount. They never fail to put a smile on my face. But clutter is always the things that you don't love, need, or use. That will look wildly different to different people, and that's totally okay. But if you want better use out of your kitchen this coming year, we suggest going through your kitchen drawers and decluttering the stuff that you don't love, need, or use. Chances are someone else will love it, and it will simplify your day-to-day in the kitchen.
Next up, we have paper clutter, like old receipts, bills, and random documents. Loose pieces of paper can really clutter up a space and make it hard to find what you need when you need it. Jess and I are from Australia, so we're all too familiar of the terror of needing to find important documents as a bushfire rages towards our home. Important documents, especially personally identifying ones like tax documents that need to be kept for a certain number of years, need to have a safe, organized place in your home and shouldn't be mixed amongst other random pieces of paper in case they get lost in the shuffle. A good rule we have in our household is to dispose of non-essential or important pieces of paper as soon as they enter our home, and to always take digital copies of important documents before neatly putting them in a safe, dedicated spot in our home where we know we can find them easily. To simplify the start to your new year, spend an afternoon sorting your paper-based items into keep and toss piles. A shredder is a great item to have handy for those personally identifying documents, and don't forget to recycle where possible.
Next, we have digital files. These are things like photos and videos on your phone, and random PDFs and other files you might have on your digital devices. Before the start of the new year, it's a good time to take stock of what footage you already have and make sure to back up important memories. Decluttering your phone means it can be all ready for a clean slate for the incoming year, so you can capture new memories without that annoying pop-up message that says that your storage is almost full.
Number 7 on our list, we've got declutter your pantry. This one's an easier one to do. Although it can be time consuming, it's pretty straightforward with decluttering your pantry of expired foods first. Right after Christmas is a great time to do this also, because people will most likely have more food in the house than usual, given the holidays. So it's easier to part with old expired foods that you know you're not going to eat. Around Christmas is notoriously the most expensive time of the year, and it's important to keep in mind that there are a lot of people doing it extra tough this year with the significant cost of living increase. So when decluttering your pantry, make sure that you're on the hunt for foods that are still within date or haven't expired, and have a good think about how long they've been in the back of your pantry and if you're actually going to eat them. Because if not, now is the perfect time to start a donation pile to drop off at your local shelter, charity, or food bank, so it can be enjoyed by someone who will truly cherish it. If you know you're never going to eat that can of chili salmon, just donate it. It's a wonderful thing to do this time of year, and it helps simplify your home. It's a win-win.
Number 8 on our list, we've got toxic relationships. This is perhaps the hardest one on our list, and we certainly took some time thinking about if we wanted to include it here. But it's honestly something that's sadly been front of mind for Josh and I recently with a friend. And if we're making a video about starting the year out right, then it's something that really should be included. Healthy relationships are incredibly important for good mental health. The equal and opposite is also true. Toxic relationships have a horrible way of pulling down mental health into a downward spiral. It's been said that you're most like the 5 people that you most surround yourself with. I think as we get older, our friendship circles start to shrink, and the people that are left don't always align with our values or morals if we don't actively think about who we want to keep in our lives. It's easy to become lazy with keeping people in our lives, even if they're not a very nice human. As we approach the new year, it's a wonderful time to take a breath, sit back, zoom out, and reflect. Reflect on our lives and the people that we enjoy or don't enjoy spending it with. There might be someone in your life that you've kept there out of apathy or obligation because you're worried of speaking up and losing them, even when they don't treat you right. There might even be someone that jumps to the front of your mind right now, someone that belittles you, gaslights, or is perhaps genuinely a really bad friend. It's important that we stop and think about how people make us feel. If you consistently leave someone feeling awful or negative, it's good to think about why. What did they say or do to leave that lingering feeling? Is it something that you can talk to them about? Or will they shut down and cut you out until it's convenient for them not to? That's not a healthy relationship. It's okay and healthy to rethink relationships because life changes and people change. So before 2024 comes around, have a think about those people in your life you're grateful for and genuinely enjoy being around. Those that support you, encourage you, and take an even deeper look at those who don't. It might be time to do something proactive about it. If you want to shape your life into one that is authentically built around doing what is best and right for you.
Next up, and something that is quite a bit easier to declutter, your old shoes. In particular, your old exercise shoes. Like I'm sure many people's New Year's resolution will be this year. If you're planning to be a little bit more active in the new year, then it's especially important to declutter your old running shoes and get sturdy, safe ones with lots of extra support. Injuries to your knees or ankles are not worth it from hanging on to old, tattered shoes. So declutter your shoes if they're feeling worn out. I can guarantee the cost of safe, sturdy shoes will be far less costly than ankle or knee surgery, or any other issues that can arise from having shoes with worn out support and grip.
Number 10 on our list, we've got decluttering your recipes. It's easy to get carried away making the most intricate and lavish foods over Christmas time. It's fun to experiment and show off your fancy multi-tiered Christmas tree shaped grazing board with all the trimmings. But as we usher in the new year, it's good sometimes to go back to basics and even stick with a simple meal plan. A simple meal plan is a great idea to know what you can consistently buy at the grocery store so you're not left asking that dreaded question of what do you feel like for dinner tonight. Josh and I have a basic meal plan built around some core favorite meals of ours. We have roughly the same things every week with some wiggle room for flexibility if we really do feel like something else. I've even printed out our core recipes and laminated them and stuck them on our fridge as a visual reminder of what we're eating for that week. They have Velcro on the back so we can reevaluate once a week and swap around our core recipes to suit our needs. Simplifying our meals like this has helped cut down on decision fatigue and makes our food waste next to zero when we plan properly. I find the visual aspect really helpful, and the sheer amount of time and effort it saved me organizing our weekly meals has been wonderful. Pinterest is a fantastic resource for finding healthy, simple meals. I'd recommend finding a few staple meals that meet your requirements and scheduling them on certain days if you're really looking to jump into a simplified start to 2024.
Next on our list, we've got decluttering your old books. Books that you know that you're really not going to read because they simply don't interest you, or ones that you know you're not going to reread. Jess and I are cozy minimalists, so we absolutely love our books. We have our own small office library filled with our most favorite stories. It's our happy place, and it's wonderful knowing that we always have something exciting to read. But the books that we know we're simply not interested in reading, like horror, thriller, and murder type books, we know just aren't our thing, then we don't hesitate to donate them. A part of being a cozy minimalist is leaning right into only keeping your favorite things. Keeping excess stuff just distracts from that. Receiving books for Christmas is a very common gift. So if you receive some this year, it might be a good time before the new year to take stock of your book collection and filter out the ones you really don't see yourself reading, because I can guarantee someone else will absolutely love reading it, even if it doesn't speak to you.
Next, we have simplify your finances. Before the new year arrives, it's good to take a solid look at your finances. Reflect on what your expenses were last year and where the majority of your money went. From there, it's essential to have a budget if you want to achieve your financial goals for the upcoming year. It's good to set a reoccurring monthly calendar invite to yourself to look at your personal finances, to check in where you're at and what you're striving towards. Money can be a daunting thing when you're starting to really manage your future finances to achieve certain goals, like buying a dog, paying rent, purchasing a home, or planning a holiday overseas. It's good to have a regular check-in with yourself about your money and with your partner, if you have one, to see where things stand and where you want things to go. When Josh and I first started our 9-to-5 office jobs in the city, we always made time for our budget dates. It was one of the best things we could have done, and we'd encourage everyone to do a little budget date monthly. Get some favorite noms, pour yourself a drink, light a candle, and think about future you sitting down with current you. Where do you want your money to go or not go? What things are important to you now and in the future? If you need some help simplifying your finances, I've linked the Minimalist Budget that Josh and I use in the description below. It's an instant digital download, and a budget is one of the most worthwhile purchases you can make when it comes to achieving your personal goals.
Number 13, we've got declutter your cables. Cable management. There's one way to instantly declutter your space in the most visually pleasing way with proper cable management. Messy cables can quickly make a room feel busy or untidy. This is especially true in spaces of the home like the office or where electronics reside. If you want a quick and easy way to instantly spruce up your home, declutter the cables that you don't need and neatly group together the rest and cinch them up in a cable box or runner under your table. Being in a tidy space without a doubt improves mental health and clarity. We've linked some of our favorite cable management solutions in the description below if you need some inspiration.
Number 14 on our list, we've got to declutter your screen time. By that, we mean reduce the number of apps you don't use or don't get value from, and consider reducing the amount of time you're spending on your phone or the amount of time you're in front of the computer. Nearly all of us spend too much time in front of screens. I think especially since the pandemic, there's been a huge uptick in the sheer amount of time we all spend sitting in front of a screen, on Zoom calls, flicking through documents, and scrolling. Spending too much time in front of screens is not good for our health. There's research showing the light messes with our sleep quality, and hunching over a phone or a keyboard all day can't be doing good things to our neck. I know firsthand the overstimulated and foggy feeling that I get when I spend hours upon hours mindlessly scrolling, especially short form video content like Reels or TikTok. It's never a good feeling knowing that hours of your day have been gobbled up by consuming and consuming. So declutter those unused apps. Clear your phone from distractions so you don't keep going back just to pass the time. Set timers on certain apps like Instagram and TikTok to lock you out when you've reached your daily limit. That's something that I find incredibly useful. And try decluttering your screen time this coming year. The sheer amount of dopamine released from scrolling short form video content is tempting, but it's short-lived and can leave you feeling like you're in a brain fog. I really think it's because there should always be a balance of consuming and creating. If all we're doing is consuming and not creating, there is no balance. So before 2024 begins, have a think about what you want to feel when you're in front of a screen. Do you always want to be consuming, or do you also want to balance it with some creating too? If you want to get more value from your social media or spend less mindless time scrolling, then consider mindfully decluttering your screen time.
Last on our list at number 15, we've got declutter the pressure that you put on yourself. There can be a lot of pressure at this time of year. New year, new me is something that we've all heard from childhood, and the pressure can feel like it's mounting every year to do better, to be better. We put so much pressure on ourselves to eat better, to exercise more, to make more money, to be more social, be greater than the year before. But it's good to be realistic about the goals and resolutions you're setting for the new year, so you don't set yourself up to fail if you try and change too much too quickly and find yourself overwhelmed and demotivated. The upcoming new year should definitely be one of reflection, and it's a fantastic time to set some goals that you want to achieve in 2024. But it's good to make sure that you think intentionally and deeply about what your priorities are and stick to incremental changes to further your priorities. Again, there's a pressure that comes with the new year, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed and like you're behind. That's normal because we're human and we can't help but strive to do better. But you have permission to take some of that pressure off yourself. Declutter the need to do everything and to be everything. A great way to do this is to actually start one small change today. Start today, whatever day that is when you're seeing this. It'll mean you'll get a mini jumpstart on something small instead of waiting for the new year and loading the pressure on yourself on the first day of the year.
So there we have it, 15 things you can declutter to start your year off right. Don't forget to check out our helpful resources in the description below, and subscribe if you want more videos like this to help in your decluttering and minimalism journey. We'll see you next year.
Bye. Aggressively itch. I was holding that one. Itchy.
Me. No, it's okay.